Hi everyone, welcome to my very first YouTube video, so bear with me. But I had some people reach out to me after my last round of videos that I had posted on Instagram around how I sent my Graves' disease into remission in 5 months without the use of Western medicine. And I wasn't quite sure what the best way was to share specifically what I did to do that. And some people reached out and said that maybe YouTube would be the best option. So here we are. We're going to give it a try. So if you haven't seen that first video, I'll just give you just a quick snapshot. In August 23, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, and my doctor prescribed me a prescription. It's called methimazole. I actually still have it here. This is the very first one I picked up. You can hear I never actually started taking the medication. But the very first thing that I would suggest for anyone who has recently received a diagnosis and a treatment plan from their physician would be to really sit with yourself and audit how you feel about all the information that you have received. If you do that and you feel like, yes, I need to do this, this is the best thing for me to do, this is the best thing for me to get the results that I want, then I absolutely say move forward with the treatment plan that has been presented to you. However, if you sit with that information and you're just like something doesn't feel right, it doesn't sit right, if the side effects seem way too extreme, then I encourage you to seek out information from other sources, read books. Dr. Google is your friend, and even just like posting about your experience online. What I have found from posting online, although it can be very scary to be, that transparent with people, is that you'll find that there is a lot of people out there who are either going through the same thing, know someone who has, or, has experienced something similar. And so what you'll find is that people will reach out to you and say, hey, this is what worked for me. This is what worked for my friend. They'll introduce you to people who they know who are going through something similar. And so it kind of builds up your own community around that. So that is one of the very first things that I would suggest. The second thing that I would suggest is do a lot of research feverishly. Like if you need to research on your lunch break every day for 2 weeks straight, then I would suggest you do that. And in doing that research, you want to find a book. You don't want to solely rely on whatever you have found online. You want to find someone who has actually done a lot of research on the topic and has compiled it into one comprehensive packet for you. So go to Amazon, search up your diagnosis and see what comes up. Because before Amazon was this, global giant of delivering goods to everyone, they were a bookstore. And so I just went to Amazon, I searched up Graves' disease, and I found this book that has been extremely helpful. It's called Living Well with Graves' Disease and Hyperthyroidism. And it's by Mary J. Showman. Although it does specifically mention hyperthyroidism on the cover, it does have information in here for anyone who is hypothyroid as well. But this book gave me so much information that I would not have been able to find only looking online. So definitely find a book to read on that topic. The next thing I would say is look at your diet. We all know about the food in America and that our food is killing us. But honestly, our food is killing us. And I think a lot of autoimmune diseases are linked back to gut health and inflammation of the gut. So the very first thing that you want to do after, finding your research, etc. And your research is probably going to tell you the same thing. You need to have an anti-inflammatory diet. But telling someone they need to have an anti-inflammatory diet is kind of intimidating. In an ideal situation, we would all be on a plant-based diet But sometimes plant-based isn't really feasible for a lot of people. And actually, plant-based may have the opposite effect on people. So I think what you really need to look at are your labs and your blood work. And your blood work will tell you what your body needs. I had someone reach out to me a while ago and tell me, be careful with plant-based because they went plant-based, and because they went plant-based and stopped eating red meat, it actually had an effect on their heart. So yes, plant-based is the way to go, but you have to make the decision specifically based on what nutrients your body is lacking. So you need to get blood work done. You need to get your labs, and your labs will tell you what you need to do from there. So for me, I set out with big ambitions. I was like, I am not going to eat any meat. I am not going to eat any gluten. I am not going to eat any dairy. That would be like a unicorn scenario. I don't think anyone on the face of the earth is able to do that. It's a lot. I would literally just be eating lettuce every day. So I started out with high ambitions, but I think the things that I was able to stick with still made an impact. So the very first thing I would say is dairy. There are so many non-dairy options available to us right now. It's so much easier to have access to those things than 5 or 10 years ago. You can walk into Walmart and get so many non-dairy options. So I started with milk. I traded my 2% dairy milk for oat milk. But you have to think about it more than just, oh, I'm going to change the milk in my cereal. You have to go a step further and think about the things that use milk in the process of making it. So, if you go to work and it's someone's birthday and they bring cake, chances are there's dairy in that cake. Or the brownies, there's dairy in that brownie. So you have to think about things that may have used dairy products in the making of it. So be cognizant to those things as well. The second thing is cheese. Everybody loves cheese. Everybody loves cheese. I love cheese. But you have to look for non-dairy options. So I traded my regular Kraft American cheese for this little number, Chao Creamery. You can get these at Walmart. It's probably like $5.60, somewhere around there. So yes, obviously a little more expensive than the Kraft cheese, but we are talking about your health here. So you've got to spend a few extra dollars. So this is what it looks like. Next, we're going for butter, okay? I used a lot of butter in a former life, especially on baked chicken Sundays when you just melt a whole stick of butter and you pour it over the chicken and it just tastes so good. But I had to find other options. So to replace those, I have been using the Earth Balance vegan buttery sticks. Honestly, at the end of the day, it really does not taste that much of a difference. My kids aren't complaining about it, so that's a good thing. For like a more buttery spread, I have been using, I can't believe it's not butter, but it's vegan. So a lot of these things use like avocado oil as a substitute. So try those things out. And if you love a good morning bagel and you love cream cheese on your bagel, there are some alternative cream cheese spreads. So this one is Violife original cream cheese, plant-based. You can find that at Walmart as well, or probably just your regular grocery store. And speaking of bagel, you want to try to find like a whole grain bagel or more organic bagel. Those are kind of hard to find, but see what you can find out there. I can't remember the name of the bagels that I was eating, but I had to stop myself because my weight was coming back. It's the one with the man on it. Let me find it. Okay, next up we have tuna. I cannot tell you how many cans of tuna I have consumed in the past 6 months. My coworkers probably hate me because I am opening a tuna sandwich every day at work. But you got to get the expensive tuna, okay? Don't get the cheap stuff. You got to get the tuna that's in the olive oil, all right? Do not go cheap on your tuna, okay? But I have consumed a lot of it, and no complaints. I thought that eating too much of it would have a negative effect, you know, like too much mercury or whatever, but try to incorporate tuna into your diet. The next thing you want to try to get rid of is anything bleached. So chances are, if it's white, it's bleached. So white bread, white rice, white salt, anything white, you want to replace it. So replace your bread with only whole grain, not even multigrain, not wheat, whole grain bread. Your iodized salt, you want to replace with pink salt. But sometimes getting the pink Himalayan salt, they come in like the bigger crystals, and then they come with like the little shaver, and it's too much work. So I did find this one by Morton, but it comes in a fine. So try to find the fine option. It'll just make it a lot easier for it to mix into your food. Now you want to replace your rice. So after my diagnosis, I did sign up for a subscription with Thrive Market, which is kind of like an online grocer that will ship you groceries. So they do have a lot of healthier options available. Honestly speaking, I have not purchased a ton from them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to renew my yearly subscription, but I did find some things on there like this Thrive Market black rice. So I had never seen black rice before I got my Thrive subscription. So I was pretty intrigued by it. When you go to boil it, it actually is purple. So it turns your water purple. It has kind of like a purple, it stains purple. Next, you want to replace your sugar. And so I have opted for agave nectar as a sugar replacement. If you put sugar in your coffee, in your tea, in your spaghetti, definitely look for agave nectar. I use it on my waffles or pancakes to replace syrup. So you definitely want to get refined sugar out of your diet as well. And agave nectar and even honey is a good option to do that. Next, just very quickly, endocrine disruptors. I feel like I need to do a lot more research on endocrine disruptors because they technically are in a lot of things that we use every day, but essentially certain products have endocrine disruptors in them that can be a trigger for anyone with an autoimmune disease. These are household items. These are, candle wax. These are house cleaners. These are even the dust in your house is an endocrine disruptor. So I encourage you to do some additional research on endocrine disruptors. But these are just a few of the changes that I made based off of trying to reduce the amount of endocrine disruptors that I expose myself to, starting with household cleaners. So before my diagnosis, I was using Lysol all-purpose cleaner. That's why I still have it, because I stopped using it. But I have replaced this with this 7th gen all-purpose cleaner. In your local grocery store, you'll probably see 7th gen. You may see a different bottle. I don't like that other bottle. I think it stinks, but I really, really like the smell of this one. It's just like a clean lemon scent. That other one, I don't know what that is, but I don't like it very much. Okay, next, your toilet bowl cleaner. I'm sure everyone has this Clorox bleach toilet bowl cleaner in their bathroom. But we are going to replace that with, this is something that I did get from Thrive Market. So we're going to replace that with our Rosy toilet bowl cleaner. Okay. And then the next thing you want to do is reduce your exposure to plastic. I know there's been a lot of talk about microplastics recently. I used to use a plastic cutting board. I replaced my cutting board with a wooden one. And I tried to replace our plastic water bottles with glass ones. So you want to opt for glass when you can instead of plastic, or like I said, if you have a plastic cutting board, we're going to move to a wooden cutting board. Okay, this next thing I'm going to talk about, I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I'm going to be completely honest. So I have been drinking mushroom coffee instead of regular coffee. The mushroom coffee that I purchased was Rise mushroom coffee. And the only reason I'm still using this is because I haven't run out yet. But when I run out, I probably will not buy them again. And it's not because I don't like the coffee or I don't like the way it tastes or etc. I just did not like my shopping experience with them. So in the comment, I'm going to put like a Amazon shopping link. I have a different mushroom coffee in there that I'm going to try. But just speaking on my experience with Rise, I purchased from them on their website. I never got a confirmation email, never got a tracking email. And because I never got those emails, I never knew that I technically signed up for a subscription with them. So like a month or two later, they charged my card for 2 more bags of coffee for a subscription that I never signed up for. And I tried to dispute it with PayPal, and PayPal told me that it was real. So I never got my money back. So I got a problem with Rise, but I'm gonna still drink it because I paid my money for it. So after this is gone, I'm going to use the mushroom coffee that I have in my Amazon link. Okay, last thing from a endocrine disruptor side is body products. So we have heard for a long time about deodorant and aluminum in deodorant and etc. So I have started using Lumi, whole body deodorant. It smells amazing and it gets the job done. And if I run out of Lumi and I go back to an aluminum deodorant, I can really feel a difference in my skin. Like there's this like film of wax on my skin that the aluminum deodorant will now leave behind because I've just been so used to using this type of deodorant. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I think it's definitely going to be more beneficial in the long run. Another thing that you may want to look into, if your hyperthyroidism has caused your skin to be really, really itchy, like mine did, I traded like a body lotion for a body oil. I really love the Taraji P. Henson. She has a oil in her line. And then I started out with this small business owner's oil. So let's see if we can get that in there. So listen, don't try to take my Spanish card when I try to pronounce this, okay? Yes, I am mixed with Spanish. No, I do not speak Spanish, but I'm going to try to tell y'all the brand of this, okay? It's called Pasión de la Piel, okay? That's how I said it. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what we're going with, okay? This is the chamomile vanilla oil, and this really, really helped me when I was looking for relief, my itchy skin, before I got my diagnosis. So if you have that itchy skin, definitely try to opt for a body oil instead of a lotion. Okay, so now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the herbs and supplements that I used to help get my Graves' disease into remission. The very first thing that I purchased was Native Remedies ThyroSoothe. I ran out of it. I don't have it right now. I did find something else that I'm using, so I'll show you that in a second. But I came across some research. Apparently, it was used in these cases where a cat had hyperthyroidism. So yes, animals can get hyperthyroidism as well. And they saw positive results with it through the treatment with this cat. So I was like, if it worked for this cat, it's probably going to work for me too. The reviews were great with it as well. So I did go ahead and start with Native Remedies ThyroSoothe. So the Native Remedies is a little on the pricier side. I want to say it's maybe like $36. And it'll come in a jar like this. It's a little bigger than this though. This is what I'm using right now. Instead of the ThyroSoothe, this is a Thyroid Calming by Herb Farm. So this is like half the price. This is $14. And so the only difference between the ThyroSoothe and this one is that the ThyroSoothe only has buggleweed, motherwort, and lemon balm in it as the ingredients. This one has all three of those ingredients, but it also has Cactus grandiflorus stem. I haven't done research as far as what that ingredient does and the benefits of that. And so they come with the little droppers. You'll just put one of these droppers in 1 to 2 times a day. You'll see in the reviews, people will say, basically, these types of things, they're gross. They don't taste great. They're not supposed to. But what I do is I just hide them in a glass of apple juice. Everything else throughout the day I drink is just water. I don't drink anything else. But I hide it in apple juice. So that's a good option if you're looking to kind of mask the taste of these things. The next thing that I have been using is black seed oil. Black seed oil is just used to treat so many different things. So I would definitely use this. It helps boost your immune system. So adding black seed oil is definitely a benefit. Oh, and there's one really important thing that I forgot to mention as something that I did in this journey. And it came from me reading this book. So in this book, Mary talks about an ingredient called, I think it's called aspartame. I probably butchered that. But before my diagnosis, I don't drink soda. I don't drink a lot of juice. I was drinking a lot of water, and then maybe like once a day with dinner, I would have, like one of those. It wasn't Crystal Light. It was like the Walmart version, the great value version of Crystal Light. And I would put it in my water. But what I didn't know is that that ingredient that is in a lot of sugar-free things. So if you're getting something and it's sugar-free, check the ingredients to see if it has this ingredient in them. I would stop it immediately. And that ingredient is so detrimental to the effect of, people have been misdiagnosed by having hyperthyroidism or Graves' disease, when in actuality, they're just in a thyroid storm because of what this ingredient is doing to their system. And by simply stopping using or consuming this ingredient, they have been able to reverse the effects by simply removing that ingredient from their diet. So if you were like me and you use those packets or those sugar-free things, stop them immediately and see how you feel. All right, guys, bear with me. I've got 2 more things to show you. Maybe 3. So lemon balm. Lemon balm. This was listed as one of the ingredients. It's in ThyroSoothe. It's in Thyroid Calming. So it definitely has an effect on calming the thyroid. It's used to calm anxiety. So I like to drink it in this tea option right before bed. So lemon balm, this is traditional medicinals. You can get it at your local grocery store. The next thing, which also came from reading this book is selenium. Incorporating selenium is not specific to whether you had hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. Selenium is just going to help get your thyroid functioning the way that it is supposed to. In the first part of my journey, I was not using selenium. It wasn't until I got my second round of labs. After that, I started incorporating selenium, and now we're here, after my third round of labs, and my numbers are all within the appropriate range. So could it be because I incorporated selenium? Is it just a coincidence? Who's to say? But I did start using the selenium after my second round of labs. Okay, and during this journey, you want to beef up your immune system. I think in these last 6 months, I think I had the flu, like I had a cold, my body was just going through it. So I felt like I just kept getting sick. So you want to beef up your immune system. We hear a lot about elderberry. So I started taking these elderberry chewables just once a day. Haven't really gotten sick since using them. So something to think about, not specifically for autoimmune disease or for thyroidism, but just something to help increase the strength of your immune system. Okay, and the very last thing I'm going to share with you guys is there is not a ton of research that confirms the link between the urinary tract and thyroidism or hyperthyroidism, but there have been some cases where people who have been diagnosed with Graves or diagnosed with hyperthyroidism have also had complaints and experiences with repeat and chronic UTIs and urinary issues and bladder issues and etc. I myself have not had an issue with anything urinary until I started having symptoms with Graves' disease. So I'm going to say there is a link, but more research needs to be done with that. And so I started buying this just recently. This is the first bottle that I've purchased. So this is Mentos. Hopefully I have pronounced it correctly, but this just helps support the urinary tract and urinary health. So if you are also experiencing those types of issues as kind of like a side effect or a symptom to your hyperthyroidism, then I would definitely try to incorporate that, because a glass of cranberry juice a day just isn't going to cut it. And that is everything I have to share with you guys. I feel like it was a lot. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I feel like there's so much more I could say. But I think that was a good start. So if anyone has any questions or needs more advice or any type of counsel, let me know. Shoot me a message. I would be happy to help. I've already had some people in my DMs looking, for help, and I have absolutely no problem helping anyone that's just trying to make a lifestyle change and make themselves better and healthier and happier and just more relieved. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. It's probably super long. If you made it here, thank you. Share it to anyone who needs it or who is looking for relief. And I'll talk to you guys soon.